Welcome back, Scopers, and welcome to the channel, Peekers. Peekers, go ahead and subscribe. I'll wait. Not really. No, I won't. Okay, so it's been a few weeks since I last made a video. The last time you saw one, I did a video about this panel here, which in this video you can still see only about a third of the screen. We are embarking on a new journey now. I originally wasn't going back to class in the spring. I was gonna just go ahead and do this full time, do my channels full time. I'm trying to kick off some other channels as well, as in addition to this tech channel. But I'm going to try to do those as well, but I'm not going to be able to do it full time until these classes are over with. So I'm going to continue doing my classes full time, and I'm gonna do this as well on the side at nights and weekends, basically. 2016, I will gear up a lot of new stuff for Technoscope. It just won't be able to happen as fast as I want it with these classes going on. But that's not really why I'm here. Why I'm here is because I have something new to show you. I'm in the middle of a new project right now, and this project is called Project Sledgehammer. Now, why Project Sledgehammer? Because I'm doing a computer build, and sledgehammers crush and demolish things, and the point of this PC is not to crunch numbers but to crush them. I want something that renders 4K. I want something that renders 4K quickly. I want something that will allow me to do multiple videos in a day without it taking all day to do, especially if I'm going to wrap up these videos and do other channels as well. So I need something that's very quick, something very powerful. Now, I have the motherboard. It finally came in today. This is the first piece of the puzzle. Well, not technically the first piece. I have a fan back there that came a couple days ago, but this is technically the first piece of said puzzle. This right here is a motherboard to end all motherboards, and I'm going to unbox it here on this camera in this video so that you can see what I'm working with. This behemoth will allow me to pretty much do anything I want to with 4K. It's going to allow me to do 4K dirty, just how I want it. However I want to do 4K, this machine will let me do it. So I'm not going to spill too much about what my plans are, but if you even look up this number, you're going to be amazed about the specs and the things that you see. I didn't even know this board existed for a while. It's been out for like a year now. But I came across a video that had its younger brother or sister, whatever you want to call it, the Z10PE D8. This is the D16. The D16 has more RAM slots, 16 of them to be exact, which is why it's called the D16. The smaller brother or sister, whatever you want to call it, it's a motherboard, so I guess smaller, the younger sister, I don't know, whatever. The D8 was recently featured in a video Linus did on Linus Tech Tips, in which he built a PC that was quote unquote $30,000, and he built it around the lesser version of this board. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. No, I'm not going to spend $30,000. I am not crazy. I am not insane. But I will build a monster PC, and I will tell you how much it costs when it's all said and done. So without further ado, let me go ahead and move the camera so you can see a better angle of this, and I'm going to go ahead and unpack it or unbox. Okay, so we're back now, and I have the board right here in front of my screen. It's really hard to give you an idea how big this motherboard is, but this box is freaking huge. This is the MX Master Mouse. If you've seen one of those in person, maybe that'll give you a clue of how big this box is. Like I said, it's the Asus motherboard Z10PE D16 WS for Workstation. It's a Workstation board, I have no doubt about that. You could game on this. I mean, it has crossfire and SLI capabilities. Okay, so I hope that's a little better focus for you. Like I said, Z10PE D16 workstation motherboard. It's not a gaming motherboard, but it can be used for gaming. It supports 3-way SLI or 4-way crossfire. I will be gaming on this because this will be my main PC. Now, some people have also said that this is a server motherboard, and technically it is a server motherboard, but this is the workstation version of a server motherboard, which means that it's meant to be in a single PC that's very high performance. Let's see, there's some stuff in here. You can glance over there if you want to. Most of this information is on the internet, and I'll go into what all that stuff really is in future videos, but this is just kind of an unboxing of this one. So first, let's take the outer sleeve off, and what do you know, it looks exactly the same. So, and we open the upper flap, and now I want to remind you that this may be shocking to some. You may not have seen something like this unless you watched Linus's video, and then of course you already know what to expect, sort of. Alright, so this is the board itself. Very, very nice packaging for a motherboard. Granted, I haven't built a PC, a high-end PC, and probably it's been almost 7 years now. It'll be 7 years in March when the PC that you're seeing right here, that's showing this, it'll be 7 years in March since it was built. So it's been quite a while. But anyway, let's go ahead and open this up further. So you have the motherboard in a box, and then you have a box under the box. Let's go ahead and jump into the accessories first. I'm trying to watch the camera to make sure that the focus doesn't get crazy, because I have the autofocus turned off. And let's see what we have here. It's a lot of stuff just for one side. Wow. Okay. So for this side, SATA cables, those, see those everywhere. This, I'm sure, is supposed to have something in it. Probably this. Unless you're 3-way SLI bridge. More SATA cables. The I/O shield. Don't look at that too quickly, too closely. Software on CD, on DVD ROMs, which, yay. Let me go ahead and say something up front. This new PC is not going to have an optical drive in it, as high performance as it's going to be. I'd rather use an external drive that I have, because I just don't use optical media anymore. There's no reason for me to have a dedicated drive in my PC for it. The one that I just pulled out of this PC had been sitting there idle for at least 2 years since the last time I used it. So I'm definitely not putting a dedicated raw optical drive in there. I'll just use the external one I have. I'll plug it in whenever the need arises, which is probably rarely. Documentation, settings, connections, ports, and all that stuff. Some information about M.2 on there, RAM, how to plug in the RAM, and things like that. And go ahead and put this back in this sleeve that it goes in. I will not be, well, I'm going to say I won't be running SLI, but I can't necessarily say that. The original build is going to have one GPU, but I may upgrade to SLI or Crossfire in the future. It just depends. Okay, and on the other side, let's see, not much over here. 2-way SLI looks like. Your serial or RS-232 connection, 2 USB ports, and this is kind of unique. Let me see if I can get a focus on this or not. barely. I don't know. I'm using my phone as like a remote monitor, so it's kind of hard to tell. But this anyway is a VGA connection, because this board has onboard VGA display, so that if you're using it like in a server environment or something, you don't necessarily have to have a video card in this machine taking up a slot. You don't want that in a server environment when you probably need all slots on the board for whatever you're doing. So let's see if I can use the autofocus this time. Instead of yeah, that looks rather in focus. I don't want to get too touchy-feely with this. I'd be very upset if I damage something. Oh my goodness, this board is heavy. This is a lot of weight for a motherboard. Oh my goodness. I've probably held computers that weigh less than this board. And here she is. Still no autofocus. Wow. Like I said, it's hard to tell just how good the focus is because I'm using my phone as the remote screen. But anyway, let's see. Hopefully this is good. I don't know why I can't get autofocus to work right now. But anyway, as you can see, it's dual slot. I'm going to be using two Xeon processors in here. You can't use i7s when you're doing a dual CPU configuration. So this is strictly Xeon territory, which means no overclocking, unfortunately. But Xeon processors do support turbocharging, which is like a built-in overclock sort of. First thing you'll notice, I mean, other than the dual CPUs, is all these RAM slots up here. It might not be as apparent on this picture, on this video, but in person it's like, oh my god, look at all these RAM slots, you know. So 8 for each processor for a total of 16, up to 1 terabyte total. That's 512 gigabytes of RAM each one. One day, probably years from, like this computer over here is 7 years old, probably when this one's like 5, hopefully RAM will come down so cheap that I can actually load that up with a terabyte of RAM. Why would I do that? Number one, because I can. And number two, because I would be able to run a very nice dedicated RAM drive on this PC, which means I can take all the files for videos that I'm going to render, put them on the RAM drive, which is instantaneous speed, even faster than SSDs, and render my videos, do whatever I need to do, and then just copy the files back or whatever I have to do and move all the files back to my permanent storage. So I mean, that's where I'm going with that. Also, I will be running VMs, but I'll get into that later while I'll be doing that. You have 6 PCI Express slots here. On the one that Linus built, he used the D8, which has half as many RAM slots, but it has a 7th PCI Express slot. I didn't need 7. I'd rather have the extra RAM slots. That's basically what it came down to. These two motherboards are nearly identical except for those two little things. Pretty much everything else is the same. these gray PCI Express slots you see here are full by 16 in the SLI or Crossfire configuration, and the two black ones I believe are by 8. Not quite sure, but it doesn't matter, because if you're gonna do Crossfire or SLI, you don't use those two, you use the gray ones. See, anything else worth mentioning? You have your counter right there, switcher down here. I really have to look into what that switch is really for, but it said something about PC doctor or something. It has something to do with fixing it some kind of way, or diagnosing it. I don't know. I have to look more into it. You have M.2 right here. This is the header for the M.2, which is probably hard to see. There's the screw holes for it. I don't know if this supports NVMe yet. I contacted Asus tech support, and tech support didn't know. So they supposedly elevated my inquiry to an engineer, and we're waiting on the engineer to come back to say if this supports NVMe or not. Wendell on Tech Syndicate said that it does, but I'm not sure where he got his information from, because I can't find it on any of these. But if it supports NVMe, I will be very happy, because I want a 950 or something extremely fast. I'm going all out here. I want extremely fast. You have 4, I can't even see those down here, 4 SATA connections right here, 6 more right here. All of them are SATA 3. There's no SATA Express, like I would need it. I don't care. There's no SAS on this board. This PC over here, the 7-year-old PC, actually has onboard SAS. I used it briefly when I first built it because I was running 15K RPM drives in it. But since it was about a year old, I haven't had those, or since it was about 2 years old, I haven't had those, and it hasn't really been an issue. I ended up getting a RAID card to run those off of anyway, so it still really doesn't matter. So anyway, a combined total of 10 SATA 3 ports if I need them. What else should I mention? Oh, look at these power connections. Isn't this crazy? You have your 24 pin here in the middle, you have an 8 pin on this side, you have an 8 pin on that side. I bought a splitter, but I think the power supply that I'm getting will actually have all the connections I need for that. But that's crazy. I guess you need one for each processor, right? Okay, so as you can see, you're using the high performance capacitors. Those things are designed to last. Like, if you were to put this PC in an environment that it would absolutely not even run in anymore, those capacitors would still survive. That's amazing. These heat sinks on the VRMs is crazy. So let's see, is there anything else to say? Yes, I'll show you the backside here. We have, I don't know if I said it before, here's a power switch right here and a reset switch. This is the first time I've ever had a board that actually had those switches on it, and I kind of like that, because it'll allow me to work on this board without actually having it inside of a case, or, you know, having to actually install it in something. I can actually hook it up in a test environment and work on it. So let's see. So here we have PS2, a PS2 connection. Some people still like those. PS2 is old. Technology has been around for like 30 years, or I guess longer than 30 years. And other than the serial port, the RS-232, there's no other technology on these boards as old as those two things. And so it just amazes me that people are still using them this many years later. USB 2.0. This one right here, I'd have to double check, but one of them, and I believe it's this one right here, will give you quick charge capabilities for like a cell phone or something. I will never charge anything off of this. I might use it to run my deck or something, I don't know. Just to have that extra bit of juice if it needs it. But I will never charge anything. But you have quick charge on there. A couple more USB 2.0s right there. 4 USB 3.0 ports on the back. You also have headers on the board for USB 2.0 and 3.0. So you can add another 4 more ports. Those will probably be used for the ones up front that are going on the front of the case. You have optical audio, which I never use on a computer. You have your regular audio out. I won't use those either. I have a DAC up here, and I will be using DisplayPort audio out as well. Now, some of you have probably been staring at these 3 Ethernet ports right here. Technically, it's only 2. These 2 right here are the data Ethernet ports. It gives you the gigabit. You can team them up for 2 gigabits. You know, just basically standard 2 Ethernet ports that you would normally see on any motherboard these days. This one, however, is server grade stuff. This is a monitoring Ethernet port. So if you want to control this computer from a different location, or if you want to monitor it, record information from it, whatever, that's what that one's for. So that's more on the enterprise side than anything else. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. The other one other thing I wanted to mention, and let me get the focus back again. And I can't even see any of them. There's some over here that might be hard to see. Wow, they kind of blend in. Okay, well, anyway, I guess there's one right there. Try the shot. This board has 7 fan headers on it, just in case you wondered. Obviously, you have 2 for your CPUs, and then you have another 5 for case, power, or whatever. I will be running 4 to 5 case fans, so those might all be used. It just depends. I'm trying to make the wiring look nice, so I don't know if I'll be using wire fan hubs or whatever. I don't know, but I should have enough here. But anyway, I don't think there's anything else I want to say right now, or anything else I can think to say. This is a very nice motherboard. It was very expensive, by far the most expensive board I've ever bought. If you have any questions about it or anything, or any comments, anything you want to know about it, just go ahead and leave a comment below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, as soon as I find out. Like I said, the only thing I don't really know about this board is whether or not it supports NVMe, and I might have to find out the hard way if Asus don't get back to me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have anything, you want to know anything, you have any comments, any suggestions, maybe any questions, anything like that, just go ahead and leave those down below. I'm going to be recording this build progress on Instagram. So you go to my Instagram page. It's instagram.technoscope.com or instagram.com/technoscope, either one. I think I will also be recording it on Tech Syndicate, the Tech Syndicate forum. I'm trying to get involved with that forum over there because a lot of those guys have the same interests I do. So I'll probably also start a page on their forum that will be dedicated to this entire build. This is one step of a lot of many steps. In fact, let me go ahead and show you the fan that I have before I end this. This is just one of many fans that I'm getting. On the low side, I'm estimating this build will have 6 fans, a minimum of 6. This right here is the what is the model number for this? This is the Noctua NF-A14 IPPC Industrial PPC 3000 RPM PWM fan. It will not be spinning 3000 RPM, probably never in its life, in this PC, unless I just want to see if I can circulate the entire room's air through the whole case. The reason I went with this one is because, number one, it's industrial. It's designed to last a long time. Number two, it uses a 3-phase motor instead of 2, like most fans do. Even their cheaper fans only use 2. So this is like the big daddy of their fans. This one is the 140 millimeter. I will be mostly using 120 millimeters. I haven't ordered those yet, but they're coming eventually. The entire case will be using Noctua fans. The heat sinks will be Noctua as well. I just decided that, hey, I'm going to go all out, and this is the company that everybody says to go with. I've never used them before, but everybody says this is the fan company, so that's who I'm going with, and hopefully it pays off. So a minimum of 6 fans, maybe more, and the anti-vibration mounts that go along with it. So anyway, that's for another time. Like I said, I'm not building anything right now. I don't have most of the parts for this yet. This board was expensive, so it's going to take me probably another month or 2 to actually get all the pieces for this. And once I do get them, I'll keep you informed. As I get piece by piece, I'll keep you informed. I'll probably do unboxings of most of the parts that come along. I'll answer as many questions as I can, why I chose a particular part or whatever it may be. Just go ahead and leave those comments below and let me know what you think. Ask any questions that you have. I think that's it, and yeah, just hit me up on social media, YouTube, Instagram, or Tech Syndicate forum. My name is Elemento, and this is Technoscope.
Technoscope is a Twisted Curve production.